Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Brewing with Mr. Beer. My name is Robert Lewis, and I'll be your host for today's show. Today we are brewing our American Lager standard refill. So what I have here is our American Lager, HME. I got 2 boosters, packet of no rinse. That's what you get. So I guess we'll just hop into it. The first thing you do is always test your fermenter for leaks. Even if you've brewed countless times, always test it for leaks. You never know what can happen. We've tested this one, it's good to go, no leaks, no nothing. We've gone ahead and sanitized this already, so you don't have to watch us sanitize things. So if you're kind of curious how we did that, check out this video here. We got our 1 gallon of water in here, filled up about halfway, that 4 liter mark on the back. Basically, you're going to use half the packet of your no rinse cleanser. You save the other half for bottling. So we're going to pour in approximately half. It's a rough guess, fold that up, put it away for later. And you want to mix this until it's dissolved. Pretty easy to mix up, especially if your water is room temperature. Alright, once it's mixed, we're going to put our spoon in there. We're going to throw our lid on, and we're going to shake it around to make sure it touches the entire surface of the keg. You're going to want to go upside down. It will leak out of the top because of the notches in there, so you can see a leak in there. Now that we touched everything, then you're going to want to let it sit for about 10 minutes. Alright, so 10 minutes has passed. Once the 10-minute mark is up, we're going to run some fluid out of our spigot here. I usually just kind of give it a 1 and 2 open. We're going to run that into our bowl. That's where we're going to keep all of our utensils. Then we're going to give it one more shake around just to make sure it's good. Alright, so we got that. Then the solution here, we're going to want to put it into our bowl, which will be used to sanitize all of our utensils. So we're going to dump that in there. That's where you add your can opener, your whisk, your spoon, whatever you're using. The rest of this just goes right down the drain. Throw your lid back on. Now you're ready to get brewing. Alright, so that's how you sanitize all your equipment. I got our no rinse here in the bowl, so now we're going to sanitize our brewing utensils. What I got here is I got a whisk, a spoon, a can opener, our scissors, and a spatula that I like to use. I also have a funnel that I'll drop in here in a little bit that I like to use. It makes it pouring the pot in your fermenter. It makes it a whole lot easier than just trying to wing it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our lid off of our HME can here. We're going to score some points there, playing basketball. For our yeast aside for later, I'm going to put this in some warm water so it makes it easier to get out of the can a little later. You always want to put it in upside down because you're going to open the can from the bottom where it looks like a can. You don't want to open it from that side. It's just not... doesn't work well, it's not easy to do, not the best method. So we get that sitting in there. What we're going to do is I'm going to get 4 cups of water to put into our pot here. We use RO water here when we brew. You can use tap water for the setup if you choose to. Some people just brew with tap water. Their tap water isn't, heavily, or has a lot of chlorine in it. We have a whole video on the best type of water to use. And I think there's another one on Can You Brew with Tap Water, so if you want to check those out, head over to YouTube, you can find those there. So I'm going to put this right in here, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to grab our boosters, my scissors, so we're going to, while this is warming up, we want to bring this to a boil. We're going to mix in our booster. I got scissors, I got a whisk that I like to use, so I'm going to kick this on, so we'll start heating up. We're going to open this from the side here. I will try and spin out of the way. You just want to sprinkle your booster in kind of slowly. And keep mixing it as you do. You can kind of see it does clump together at first, but throughout just doing some whisking, you can get that to go away for sure. So we're just going to keep mixing this up. So basically it's just a constant process of pouring some in, mixing it up. I'm going to show you what happens. So we're just going to dump the whole thing in here. So I'm kind of just want to show you guys how this works here if you dump it all in. So you can kind of see how much it clumped together at the bottom of there. It's not, if this happens to you, it's not that big a deal. It dissolves pretty quickly. You guys see I'm breaking it up there. Just keep mixing it on up there. I'm going to go ahead and get the second one in as well. So I'm going to get these in. We're going to mix these up and bring this to a boil, and then we will bring you guys back on in. Alright guys, so you can see we got this to a boil. I'm going to shut the heat off here. We're going to bring this bad boy over here. Move this out of the way. I'm going to get our can that we got sitting in our warm water right here. Slippery can. And warm water. Get our sanitized can opener. Open that up. I like brewing our standard refills because they're pretty straightforward. They're not nothing too complicated or anything like that. I mean, it's just, you know, the booster, the can, and we're getting some good beer. It's really good stuff. So for this, I like to use my silicone spatula here. So open this bad boy up. Oops. You guys take a look at what's going on in there. All that malt extract. So we're just going to kind of start pouring this into the pot. You want to make sure that you're stirring this in there because you can see the steam coming off. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very hot water still, so the pot's still very hot. So you can risk scorching your malt extract there, which you do not want to do because that's going to leave some bad taste in your brew. So we got a lot of that out. So I'm going to try to use a spatula to just scrape, pop that up a little bit, scrape the rest of this can. So you're going to get as much of this out as you can. It's just going to help with, you know, the more malt extract you get in your can or in your beer, it's going to help with the flavor, the body, the mouthfeel. It's going to help with your ABV, just it's all that good stuff. So you don't want to leave too much behind. Always get as much as you can out. So we got a good amount out there. Put that back in there. And we're going to mix this up a tad here. And then I'm going to switch over to the whisk. I just want to make sure I get this all mixed in. Careful, I don't want to overflow at this stage. Let it mix away. Yeah, sometimes you can use a bigger pot if you want. It helps a little bit with that. You can get really wild and vigorous mixing here, but got some good mixing going there. So I'll let this sit here for a sec. And now I'm gonna get some cool water for our fermenter. So I got 2 gallons of water chilling in the fridge here. One here. One here. So before we pour in the hot wort, we're going to want to add in about 1 gallon of cold water, which we're going to fill it up to the number 1 mark on the back, roughly. Or if you have like an old fermenter, it'd be like the 4 quart mark, I believe. So yeah, you always want to make sure this is cold water that you're using because you're pouring that hot wort in there. And so you want it to, chill it down so it doesn't, you know, warp your fermenter, and you also want it to be chilled enough for when you pitch your yeast, it doesn't kill your yeast, because that's not good. So we got that there. Mix this up a touch. So let's sanitize our funnel here. I just like to roll it around with some of that stuff. Get the inside, get the outside. Make sure it's all clean. You don't have to use a funnel, but it just makes pouring this into there a whole lot easier, because if not, you can make a big mess. I'm sure if you do a lot, you've done that at least once in your day, or maybe you're a pro, you don't, but I don't have the steady hands. I feel like that's a pretty good mix there. All right, so we toss that back into our sanitizer. We're gonna pour this. Oh, see, still splashed. Look at the funnel, man. Just not my day for pouring things. So, but yeah, we got that mixed really well. It looks good. It's a solid mixture. So we're done with that. We're done with our funnel. We're gonna put these away. And now we're going to top off with more cold water. It's that number 2 mark on the back. If you have an old fermenter, it's number 8 mark. But total, it's roughly like 8 liters of water in the fermenter total. You want to make sure that you're getting the liquid line to the number 2, not just like the foam. The foam's there now, but my liquid's not quite there. I'll go a little more. Let me see here where we're at. Let's see. Nice, they're pretty solid. So yeah, it's expert pouring on my part. All right, kudos to me. Now let's whisk this bad boy up. It's already very aerated, you can see by the bubbles, but it's always good to just give it a very good, vigorous whisking. It helps just promote healthy yeast growth. When you pitch your yeast, you want to get some oxygen in there. Broke my whisk, so we're we're gonna fish that out with some sanitized tongs here in a second. All right, so if you're watching the last part, we stopped for a quick second because my whisk broke off into my fermenter. Luckily, my whisk is sanitized, so I thought we'd try and fish this out. I mean, brewing isn't always a perfect thing, so I've sanitized my tongs here. What's hard is the fermenter's dark, the liquid's dark, so I can't see anything, but I got it there. I just want to stick, you don't want to stick your hand in there, but bam, look at that. Done. So it's aerated. Moving past our mistake or our issue, don't use that whisk. We're going to open our yeast here. We're going to dump that in. Get all nice and pretty. Those yeasties are going to be all happy. We're going to throw our lid on there. And that's that. So we're going to let this ferment for 10 to 14 days. We'll take a sample at day 10. See how it tastes. Tastes like a flat beer will bottle. If it doesn't want to go for 14 days. You ferment this refill between 68 and 78 degrees. Our brew room is at 70 all the time. So ours will ferment at 70. And that's it, pretty straightforward. If you guys like the video, please give it a like. We really appreciate that. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media channels at YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We're just at Mr.Beer. And that's going to wrap it up for this brewing video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.